Thanks for joining us for our very first episode of Small Talks for Big Change, where we help simplify financial topics to help with your financial wellness. My name is Michelle Enriquez, Membership Development Manager here at Patelco Credit Union, and I'm so excited that we get to shoot this inaugural episode with my good friend and colleague, Kristi Longoria. Kristi is our Manager of Financial Health here at Patelco. Hi, Kristi. I'm so glad we get your time today.
I'm super excited to be here. Thanks, Michelle.
So we're here to talk about financial aid.
Yes.
And I pulled some stats from some January 2022 census data that reads that the collective student debt currently stands at $1.75 trillion in the United States.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So you and I have been talking so much over the last 6 months about what we can do for our members in the way of student loan debt and applying for student loan forgiveness. But there's an opportunity to help us educate our members about loan options and obligations on the front end, perhaps. So, Patelco Credit Union, credit unions in general, yes, we specialize in education. We offer webinars and all kinds of tools and resources for our members. But in your eyes, as the manager of financial health, what is our responsibility to educate our members and our community regarding financial aid options?
Yeah, it's a really huge question. And again, thanks so much for having me here today. As Michelle mentioned, she and I have known each other for a long time, and she also knows that I am a storyteller.
Yes.
So every question that she asks me is likely going to turn into some kind of story. And here we go. So this is a really big question, and it's an important one, right? Because I think a lot of communities need help understanding basic concepts of saving, budgeting, credit, all of these things. And when you think about financial aid, right, what is it? It's the assistance of somebody needing to go to college and figuring out how to pay for it.
Yeah. Or that thing that you're required to do.
Yeah,
right?
the thing exactly.
You should do.
Yeah, the thing that your teacher said at the end of the towards the end of the your senior year that you're going to have to go and do, right? But when you think about applying for financial aid, you're essentially applying for a loan. It's a loan application. You don't have to take the money, right, that you receive, but you're filling out a loan application. And for a lot of our students, this is the first time that they are being asked questions about their finances. Most families don't talk about finances with their students at home. And the level of detail that these financial aid applications go into can make families a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to what is your income, who makes what within the house, what did you as a student, how much did you work over summer, how much did you make, did you file taxes? All of these really critical foundational pieces of information that most of our students don't have access to come right in front of them on a computer screen. And they're trying to navigate all of this stuff. And it's just a lot. It's really overwhelming. And me personally, when I was, applying to go to college, I didn't have the expertise of someone to sit next to me, explain to me how to answer these questions. What are they asking for? Yes, we can read the question and we know what it says, but what are they actually asking for, right? So I'm filling this application out and not really sure of, the importance or the significance of all of these things. I end up filling my application out wrong, right? When I was going to transfer, so I went to community college first. I was going to transfer to a 4-year institution, got no financial aid for it, was expected to come out of college probably it was $47,000 a year. I was hoping to be out in 2 years or something, right? So a significant amount of money. And I just couldn't do it, right? I just couldn't make that decision to say, I'm going to invest all of this money and take out loans and do this thing, not because I didn't see the value in it, because I'm also the kind of person that just wants to know what I'm doing before I do it. And that was terrifying to me. So I decided, at that point, I got a couple scholarships to go to another school. I could go there and just not pay for anything. So I decided to do that. And even though I think that was the right decision for me, right, I will always wonder, what did I leave at the table when I decided not to go to prestigious university and go to one in my backyard, which was perfect for me anyways. But there will always be that really tiny piece of me that wonders if somebody had sat down and talked to me about financial education, financial wellness, preparedness, application processes. What am I signing on this, line? What does this mean for me? I might have made a different choice, and I might have ended up somewhere else. So when I started working in credit unions, I started understanding the importance of the power that we have being next to and within the institutions that know this stuff the best, right? We know it in practice. We know we develop products and services. We have the products and services. We train on them. We go out and we talk about them. And so much of that is just power for the individual, education for the individual. And so when I started working within this space and realizing how much I was learning in my own position, I've long said that, I'm a product of my own financial education program. I came in not necessarily knowing everything, for sure not knowing everything, right? But just having the opportunity to learn and then seeing what that did for my own financial education and well-being and being able to go back out into the community and then teach others to be empowered by that, it's huge. So personally, it's really important to me, but it's also critical, I think, for credit unions to take and own that responsibility because we have members that absolutely need it.
Absolutely. And I have had firsthand pleasure of joining you in the community and being able to work with high schools and really understand the need that the high schools have to help pass that education on to families and provide resources for families and encourage them to fill out the FAFSA. So, I've learned over time why it's important to not only have all that education, but to also make sure that the students have established an account in their own name before they accept any financial aid, before they take off to school. So share a little bit with our audience, in your eyes, your opinion, why it's important that happens on the front end, also that they set up a relationship with a financial institution.
Yeah, so one of the main questions on your financial aid applications is, what is the balance in your checking and savings account, right? It is one of the key critical questions that is going to determine financial aid eligibility, especially if you're planning to go to a college in California. So typically, and you've been with me at these workshops before, you get to that question and you ask the student, how much is in your checking and savings account? And they say, I don't have one, right? And then you ask the parent, how much is in your checking and savings account? And they say, I don't have one. And then you're in this a little bit of a, kind of a situation, right, where you're being asked on a formal application, what's in your checking account? And they're like, I don't have one. And so you put 0, like, what is that going to imply? And all of those things start to, create anxiety right in front of you. You can see how stressed the parents get when they're asked about balances in their checking and savings account in front of their student, and all of these glances going back and forth, like, somebody just give me an answer to put in this box, and it's more complicated than that. So we really want to encourage our youth to start developing those foundational financial education skills with their own accounts while they're still at home, while they still have the support, hopefully, of a parent, guardian, family friend, somebody that can teach them why it's so important to have their own account. So not only are we aiming to answer the question accurately, right? We want to be able to say, my balance is this, and if it is 0, then it's 0, but at least you've reported what's in the account. But throughout, my career of helping families with the application process, with, all of the paying for college topics, unfortunately, not all of our family members and our loved ones and people that we think we can trust, we can't trust them all the time. And one of the worst things that I think I have to do every year is talk to a student who had scholarship funds or financial aid funds deposited into a parent, guardian, family friend, whoever's account, and having that person take the funds and utilize it for something that is not related to them going to college.
Gosh, and we see it all the time.
All the time. And it sounds like something like, oh, my family would never do that to me, or, nobody would ever, I can't imagine that happening. And I think it's just part of a risk, right, that is associated with you can trust somebody, but if you put $10,000, $15,000 of liquid, essentially cash into a checking account, can you trust them to leave it for you and for the betterment of your college education? And then you've got the complexities, right, of just living in, maybe you're from the Bay Area, maybe you're not, maybe you have somewhere that, has a higher cost of living too. But we see all the time, hey, I need to utilize some of the scholarship funds because our refrigerator broke. I can't pay the PG&E bills. I can't pay for water or shelter, or all of these critical things that without it, you also wouldn't be able to go and have a safe place for you to study. And so all of these things will just start seeping in, right? And opportunities are then created for someone to potentially take advantage, even if it's not entirely malicious. Right. And those are the really unfortunate, gray areas that we see when it comes to well-being, right? And can you blame the parent that is like, I can't keep my lights on, I can't feed you all, I can't do this, I can't do that without access to these funds? And our students are they're wholesome, they're family-oriented, they understand the sacrifice that they always put themselves out front to help little brothers and sisters that are also there too. But one thing that we can do is just let them be in charge. Let them make decisions for themselves. Let them put up those walls, right, around themselves to ensure that the funds that they are taking out for college go towards what they deem as being appropriate for going to college.
Yeah, and let's face it, by the time you're a senior in high school, you're 17, 18 years old, if you don't have an account in your own name yet, it's time. Yeah. And especially since these awards can be significant, and you're going to have to learn how to manage all that, save what you can for books or rent or whatnot. So it's time by that time to do it. And Patelco is a great place to obtain a free checking account before you go off to college, before you receive financial aid, funds, scholarships, etc. So super glad you're sharing that with our audience today.
And another reason why it's super important for our students to have their own checking accounts, have control over their own application processes, is because there's a lot of opportunities for our students who don't have great money management foundations to fall victim of predatory websites, businesses that make money off of our students who don't know what it is that they're being asked to do with this application. And every year we see folks that are like, well, there's an organization or a company that's promoting that they can get us extra money through our financial aid application if we, consult with them. And it's so important for us to emphasize that there is nobody that is going to be able to help you get more money out of an application process than you can by answering these questions honestly, legitimately, and asking questions about what those organizations and websites that offer support in exchange for some type of consultation fee, so that they can receive additional support and better results from submitting that financial aid application, right? So it's almost like, hey, student family, did you not get everything that you wanted from financial aid? Well, we can help you get more by updating some answer, or doing things that you just know are going to sit really well with the student who may not have gotten whatever it is that they needed, but also be a red flag, right? For us as financial institutions, we understand that those types of businesses are there to take advantage. And so one of the things that our students can do that is so preventative when it comes to paying for services and goods that they don't need is to align themselves with responsible financial institutions, make sure that they have somebody within the community that they can seek answers to, so that they don't give more information to folks who might utilize it in an improper way.
So our families out there that are tuned in, and maybe even some of our students that are exploring getting started with the free checking account, or maybe just exploring finding out more resources about financial education and wanting to hear maybe more from Kristi about financial aid, we've got webinars posted on our website, patelco.org, where you can find recorded webinars from the past, but there's also a financial aid session where you can hear more from Kristi about financial aid options and scholarship options. So check out patelco.org to learn more about our free checking products and to check out our financial education resources. So happy that you're joining us. I have a feeling this isn't going to be the last time you're with us. In fact, I hope you're back with us on a monthly basis. Folks, Kristi Longoria, our Manager of Financial Health, super glad you were able to join us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So that concludes today's episode of Small Talks for Big Change, where we help simplify financial topics to help with your financial wellness. We'll see you next time.